Hey everyone, welcome to Downtown Camera's YouTube channel. Today we'll be talking about the newly released Micro Four Thirds line of cinema lenses from Voigtlander. The 17.5mm wide angle, the 25mm standard, and the 42.5mm portrait lens. The lenses share similar characteristics, including all metal construction, identical lens coatings, 10 diaphragm blades, a bright maximum 0.95 aperture, and a hybrid aperture control that changes from clickless to click stop at the turn of a dial. We've run lenses through some elementary test runs on the new Panasonic GH4. For our first test, we'll be looking at how the 17.5mm clickless aperture works compared to the usual click stop variety. As expected, the results of the clickless aperture controls are much preferred for anyone shooting video, and is particularly convenient for anyone who has to shoot under conditions where they are at the mercy of varying light levels. Now, let's see how the 25mm and the 42.5mm handle the same conditions. For our next test, we'll be looking at the levels of distortion each lens exhibits. Beginning with the 17.5mm, we can see that there is a degree of barrel distortion, a common occurrence in wide-angle lenses but nowhere near the levels exhibited by ultrawides or fisheyes. The 25mm lens also exhibits some barrel distortion, but to a much lower degree than the wider 17.5. As expected, the 42.5mm showed the least distortion, but still had a slight barrel effect. Let's see how the lenses handle chromatic aberration. The 17.5mm was quite clean in our tests and showed very little in the way of fringing. The 25mm handled chromatic aberration extremely well, no doubt in part to its apochromatic and extra low dispersion elements. Finally, the 42.5mm comes in, which once again handles fringing quite well. Next we move on to our breathing tests. Breathing is the phenomenon apparent in photographic lenses when focus is changed. As you rack focus from one extreme to the next, the lens will actually adjust its focal length minutely, effectively changing your frame. The side effects of this can be quite jarring for even an uninformed viewer. True cinema lenses are able to adjust focus without any change to the focal length, which is actually a fairly complex feat in the realm of optical engineering. Let's see how the Cine-Lenses handle this challenge. The 17.5mm did indeed breathe during the focus rack, with the edges of the frame compressing inwards when the focus was pushed closer towards infinity. The effect was also apparent in both the 25mm and 42.5mm lenses, signifying that these lenses are not quite up to spec with true cinematic optics, which explains why the price tag on the Nokton line is anywhere from 4 to 10 times less than a set of Cooke primes. And that leads us to our last word. For the price tag, the build quality and convenience of these lenses is spectacular. The optics are great, the design is solid, and the aperture ring is a welcome addition for DSLR videographers. And that sums up our first video. Don't forget to join us on Saturday, May 31st, in store for a special Voigtlander promotional event.